Hi there, it's Professor Mendez-Escobar here, and this video is part of a video series where I go over how to make interpretations based on child observation. In this particular video, I'll be going over the factors that influence development. Let's begin. There are different types of factors that influence a child's life, and we tend to think about them in these different categories that include contextual factors, risk factors, and protective factors. So I'd like to go over these. When we're thinking about contextual factors, these contextual factors are more tied to the child's identity and how that might have an impact on their development. And contextual factors include race, ethnicity, language, ability, such as cognitive and physical ability, socioeconomic status, so thinking about family's level of education and income, religion, and community and society. Risk factors, on the other hand, are these factors that are present in the child's life that might have a negative or not optimal impact on their development, and they include but are not limited to limited access to food, financial resources, quality education, medical and social services, homelessness, developmental delays, abuse, neglect, inconsistent caregiving, little or no peer interaction, stressful life events, and that's life with an F, such as trauma, divorce, separation, discrimination, and racism. Whereas protective factors are factors that promote optimal development or can also serve as a barrier or a shield against the negative outcomes of risk factors or other stressors. So these positive risk factors can include food security, financial resources, quality care and education, access to social and medical resources and to early intervention, secure attachment relationships, warm caregiving, positive peer interactions, access to mental health services, and affirming messages about race, ethnicity, and preparing children for bias that they might encounter. When thinking about these factors, these are some questions that you should consider. Which contextual and protective factors are present in the child's life? And how do these contextual and protective factors impact the child's development? Your responses to these questions is very difficult to have like a right or wrong. There's really might not be no incorrect response to this. However, the value here is how you explain why this might be beneficial or an impediment to the child's development, these factors. And the way that you do that is by identifying the factor and explaining how the factor influences development. And remember, your goal here is to show how the environment plays a role in development. And you do that by identifying the factor, making direct connections to development, and basing those connections on your understanding of course content. All right, that brings us to the end of this video. You might want to go back to this video and press pause so that particularly in the points in the video where I go over the factors, just so that you can look at those individually and more carefully. Alrighty, happy writing.